Gary Monty Mounfield, the Stone Roses and Primal scream bassist, dies age 63. Gary Monty Mounfield, the Stone Roses and Primal scream bassist, dies age 63. Ian Brown and Tim Burgess were among those to pay tribute to Monty, whose death was announced by his brother and nephew. Gary Monty Mounfield, best known as a founding member and bassist of Stone Roses, has died age 63. The cause of death has not been shared. His brother Greg Mounfield posted the news on Facebook. "It is with the heaviest of hearts that I have to announce the sad passing of my brother." His nephew also shared the news. His Roses bandmate Ian Brown posted on X, "Rest in peace, Monty X." Tim Burgess of the Charlatans called him one of the absolute best in every way. Such a beautiful friend. Roed of the Happy Mondays was also among those to pay tribute. Liam Gallagher wrote on X, "In total shock and absolutely devastated on hearing the news about Monty my hero." Rough Trade Records also called him the perfect example of how a bassist can be the beating heart of a band. Monty had recently announced an extensive speaking tour of the UK, spanning September 2026 to June 2027, in which he promised to look back on pivotal career moments, such as the Stone Roses' 1990 gig at Spike Island and their comeback tour in 2011. In 2023, his wife, Imelda, died from cancer. Monty was born on November 16, 1962, in Crumpsall. He attended Xaverian College in Rusholme and left school age 16. He later said he befriended Brown when they went to deal with some National Front skinheads in North Manchester who'd been shaking a lot of me mates up. He told ID magazine in 1996, "We've been mates ever since." Monty formed the band the Fireside Chaps with John Squire and Andy Cousins in Greater Manchester in the early 80s. After several name and lineup changes, including taking on Brown as frontman, they became the Stone Roses and played their first official gig in October 1984. Monty had been a guitar player until the Fireside Chaps became the Waterfront. "I found it more rewarding playing the bass guitar than playing rhythm." He said in 2000, he became synonymous with the Rickenbacker. "I've always been into good old northern soul and funk grooves, and it was like, this is it that." They quickly blew up locally, but national success took longer. It wasn't until the late 80s that labels started to take notice. Meanwhile, on the ground at home, the young Liam and Noel Gallagher both saw them live and were inspired to form bands. Monty later said that being in the Roses probably saved his life, as he watched a number of friends, 17 of them, he told ID magazine, die of heroin addiction. Produced by John Leckie, their 1989 self-titled debut Steadily became one of the key fixtures of the Manchester movement, synthesizing indie music with rave culture, its grooves led by Monty and drummer Alan Rennie Wren. In 1991, then NME critic Marion Hobbs called it the most fluent crossover album of the last decade. In 2009, to mark a 20th anniversary reissue of the record, Monty called it a classic album that is still relevant to the kids of today, deserves its recognition eventually. 20 years on, and it is still fresh and stands out amid a torrent of mediocrity, career-oriented, dull as dishwater, safe, unimaginative music that dares the challenge for our crown. We were light years ahead of our time, and the Stone Roses album will always remain light years ahead of the new so-called supergroups. Reed, M, and Wheat guys, you all know who you are. Back to school with you, and try harder. Listen and learn from the masters. In 1990, the Roses played a calamitous gig at Spike Island in Widnes to 27,000 people. It took 4 years for them to produce a second album, Second Coming, perhaps the epitome of the so-called difficult second album, which met with a mixed reception. Anything other than a stone-cold classic that sounded like it had been beamed in from another plane was going to be a jarring anticlimax, wrote John Harris in NME. In 2000, Monty said that he felt people wrote off the record prematurely. "I think they wanted something that we'd done before, but we were never about to do another Hermits album like the first one and be lovable mop tops," he said. "We'd grown hair on our